I used to love solo camping. Not anymore. This happened in 2019 when I hiked out to a remote camp area in northern Montana. The kind of place where you can walk for hours and not hear another human voice. I planned a simple 2-night trip, just me, my tent, and the trees. Everything felt normal at first. Cold air, quiet forest, a few birds, nothing strange. That first night, I built a small fire and cooked dinner. Around 9 p.m., the woods went silent. Not calm silent, I mean dead silent. No wind, no insects. Just this heavy, pressing stillness, like the whole forest was holding its breath. I tried to ignore it, told myself it was nothing. But then, I heard footsteps, slow, heavy, measured. They were coming from the tree line behind my tent. I froze. I didn't move. The fire crackled and popped. But other than that, it was pure silence. I called out, "Hello?" No response. The footsteps stopped. I grabbed my flashlight, heart pounding, and shined it toward the trees. Something moved. Not an animal. Not a deer or a bear. It was tall, human-shaped, but wrong. Too still. Almost like it was standing at an angle that didn't make sense. I shouted again, louder this time. Still no answer. Just watching. I backed slowly into my tent, zipped it up, and grabbed my knife. I barely slept that night. The next morning, I checked the tree line, expecting footprints or something. There weren't any. The ground looked untouched. But when I walked back toward my tent, my stomach dropped. There were footprints around my campsite. Human footprints. Bare feet. And they circled my tent. Twice. I should have packed up and left. But I convinced myself it was some homeless person, or a prank, or anything rational. That second night, everything escalated. Again, the forest went silent. Again, the footsteps came, only this time. They were closer. I heard slow, deliberate crunches in the pine needles, circling my tent. Then, a whisper, right outside the thin fabric wall. "I saw you." I stopped breathing. I couldn't move. The voice was low, raspy, almost excited. Another step, then another whisper. "Do you see me now?" I grabbed my flashlight and shined it through the tent wall. And that's when I saw the outline. A human figure, crouched, inches away, its head tilted at a strange angle like it was studying me. I didn't think, I didn't pack, I didn't grab anything. I just ran, sprinting through the dark woods with only the moon to light my path. I didn't stop until I reached the ranger station an hour away. When they went back for my gear the next morning, everything was still there, except the tent. It was gone. The rangers said they searched the area and found it dragged about 100 yards into the forest, torn open, like something had clawed through it. They asked if I wanted to file a report. I said no, because the footprints around the shredded tent weren't animal. They were human, bare, dirty, and large. And according to the ranger, they were facing inward, like someone had been watching from the woods for a long, long time. My family used to rent a small lakeside cabin every summer. Nothing fancy, just an old wooden place next to a huge, dark lake surrounded by forest. One summer, my cousin Ryan and I decided to camp outside instead of sleeping in the cabin. We set up a tent near the water's edge. We were both about 15 at the time. The first day was normal, swimming, fishing, the usual. But on the second night, things got weird. It was about 1 a.m. We were lying in the tent, half asleep, when we heard a splash in the water. Not like a fish jumping, more like something big falling in. Ryan whispered, Probably a deer. Then we heard a different sound. A voice. From the lake. It was faint at first, almost like someone talking underwater, muffled, gurgling. We thought we were imagining it. But then it grew clearer. Help! Me! We froze. The voice sounded strained, desperate, and close. Ryan unzipped the tent and whispered, "Hello?" Immediately the voice repeated, "Help. Me." But this time it sounded wrong, like it was mimicking him. We stepped out, shining our flashlight across the lake. Nothing but black water moving gently. Then something broke the surface. Not a person, not an animal. Something pale, smooth, round. It floated for a second, then sank. Ryan shouted, "Are you okay?" And the voice came again from a different direction. "Are you okay?" It was copying him perfectly. We backed away from the shoreline. Then something started crawling out of the water. I don't know how else to describe it except wrong. Like a person moving with joints in the wrong places. Its limbs were bent strangely, one arm dragging behind it while the other clawed into the mud. And the face, God, the face. It looked human, but the features were blurred, like someone had sculpted a face out of clay and then smeared it with their thumb. It stopped crawling when our flashlight hit it. Then the voice came again, from its mouth. "Help! Me!" But this time it was smiling, not a sad smile, not a desperate smile. A wide, impossibly wide, grin. We ran. Straight into the cabin, locked the doors, and woke everyone up. My uncle grabbed his shotgun and went outside, but whatever we saw had vanished. The only evidence was a long, smeared trail from the shoreline into the trees. The next morning, the trail was gone. The mud was smooth, as if nothing had crawled through it all. We never camped outside again, and sometimes, when I close my eyes, I still hear that voice. "Help. Me." This story happened in the Appalachian Mountains during a group camping trip with 3 friends, Mark, Lily, and Ben. We were all experienced hikers, so the trail didn't scare us. But something else did. We arrived at a clearing deep in the forest and set up camp. That night we made a fire, told stories, the usual stuff. Around midnight, we heard a loud, echoing knock coming from deeper in the woods. It was rhythmic. 3 knocks. Pause. 3 more knocks. Mark laughed and said, "Probably some woodpecker or something." Except, woodpeckers don't knock in perfect rhythm, and they don't shake the ground when they do. Then something answered. A knock, closer this time, 3 knocks. Then a long, slow, dragging sound, like something heavy moving across the forest floor. Lily whispered, "Is someone out there?" Ben said, "Nobody hikes this deep at night." The dragging sound stopped. The forest went silent. Then, knock, 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 right behind my tent. We jumped. Mark shined his flashlight toward the trees, but the beam only showed thick forest. He shouted, "Who's there?" Silence. We waited, listened, barely breathed. Then we heard the knocking again, this time farther away, almost like it was circling us. Always 3 knocks, always slow, always followed by that horrible dragging noise. We didn't sleep that night. The next morning, while packing up, Lily noticed something on the ground near the tree line. 3 marks, deep, evenly spaced, as if something had pounded the forest floor. And next to them were long, deep grooves in the dirt, like something had been dragged. We decided to cut the trip short. But an hour into the hike back, the knocking returned. Far behind us, knock, knock, knock. We walked faster. It followed, slowly, patiently, never getting closer, never falling behind. When we finally reached the parking lot and got into the car, Ben looked back at the trailhead and whispered, "It stopped." We drove away in absolute silence. I haven't camped since. None of us have. And sometimes at night, in my house, I swear I hear it again. Faint, distant, knock, knock, knock. The woods can be beautiful, peaceful, even healing. But they also hold things we're not meant to understand. Creatures we shouldn't see, voices we shouldn't hear, footsteps that shouldn't exist. So if you ever decide to go camping, and the night suddenly grows quiet, listen carefully, because something might be listening back.